So I wonder if it's this coolness factor. Once we finally realize that Africa is cool, you know, that we start to identify with it as young people.
I do think that the cool factor is part of it, but I think we decide what's cool. Like, that's what culture is, right? Like, somebody anoints the cool thing, and like people either glom onto it or they don't. And I think we just decided that we were going to create the narrative for ourselves. Because I know, like, you know, part of my interest in fashion was, you know, being a dark-skinned girl living in, you know, New York or living in the States. It was always just like light skin was it, you know, like if you had light skin and light eyes and long hair, the world was yours. And I guess that's part of why I held on to this long hair so much, because it was like, oh my goodness, it's the thing that I had. And I think that when I saw like Kiara Kabukuru, you know, the model, and Naomi Campbell and Alec Weck, like, it awakened something in me that, like, oh, there is this other beauty that's out there, and I'm gonna like celebrate it, and I'm gonna like support it, and I'm gonna protect it. And I think, you know, that's part of why I got into like fashion writing, style, beauty, that whole thing. But I think it's the same thing, like when you get to this place where you're like, listen, like, I'm through with being sort of like berated, and the energy is just too much, trying to be something that I'm not. So I'm gonna like shout it out. Like, then I'm gonna go ham. I'm gonna wear kente every day, and, you know, I'm gonna like do what it takes to show you that this is cool, and I'm proud of it. And I don't care if you like it, and it becomes this thing that now other people are like, oh, that's cool,
gravitate to it. And
you know, when the whole controversy came out with Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone and wearing blackface and all that stuff to play Nina, you know, I thought to myself when Lupita won the Academy Award that, wow, she could play Nina next time, or she can be that character. You know, I've heard so many people say they want to write stories, or they have written stories about Ya Santiwa, or all these really rich characters from Africa. And now there's an actress, should she choose to play those roles, that is there, that can help get those films financed.
But I was reading an article where they said that just because she won the Academy Awards, and, you know, all these fashion houses are, you know, putting her on their you know, magazines or whatever, it doesn't mean that roles or screenwriters or directors are going to write and create roles for her. For, you know, like a dark skin. That it might still take a while. You know, take a while
I think what's interesting about someone like Lupita is that I don't think anyone's going to hand anything to her. I think she's going to have to fight just like every other actress, white and black, but you know, particularly being a black and dark skin actress. But I think, again, like when I think of a director like Andrew Dosunmu, who is one of my favorites, I mean, he's a brilliant director. I mean, Mother of George. Talk about cool factor. Like when I went to that movie, I was just like, this is it. Like, I was when I watched it, and I said to myself, I was like, I really hope that, because the brilliance of that movie was so layered that like it goes over your head if you're not aware of it. I mean, because that story was just so beautifully told and so perfectly told. And I think that what's good is that we are at a place where we've sort of made who we are cool, and we're supporting it. And, you know, when I went to Andrew's film, I mean, there was a line wrapped around
the Angelica,
you know, at the Angelica, and that was I was so happy because I know that like this is a good sign for others to come. You know, Chimamanda Adichie, like just the success that she's seen and that she's having, it's great because it's good for all of us, you know, and for the next generation that's like looking up to her. And so it's just, we just have to support.
You got included in the Hay Festival Africa 39, which is a great honor given also the other writers who are part of that group. Talk a little bit about, you know, what that's about, and also I know that you have some new work that's included in that. If you can talk about what that story is.
Okay, so Africa 39, it's such a thrill to participate, because again, like the writers on that list, I'm like, wow. I respect all of them, and the ones that I didn't know, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so exciting to be sort of discovering their work. So I look at it as a confirmation and an affirmation that there is so much more to African literature. I think that a lot of people, when they think of African literature, they think of the greats, Chinua Achebe and Wole Soyinka and Amata Edu and Peter Abraham, etc. And I think that that's great. I mean, these guys paved the way, and I think but I don't want us to get stuck there. And so it's exciting. I think Chimamanda she's like a bridge in a way, because I think that the people who are like the stalwart, like Achebe people, they love her, and she's sort of it was okay, like through her you think it's like, take my hand, I'll pull everyone else along, and come and see that there are other writers. And I mean, there are other Helen Oyeyemi has been there for a long time, doing her thing, like little wonderkind writer, and there's so many people on the continent that we don't know. And that's what I like about what Margaret Busby said, one of the judges for Africa 39. She said, this is just a snapshot. I mean, there are so many people that are writing on the continent, telling these stories about the continent that we haven't even heard of. So this is just, I'm thrilled to be a part of it, and it's also saying, like, there's a new generation, and like add that to like the Achebe and the Soyinkas, add that, because there's more.
So Powder Necklace, the title, to me is a metaphor, right? And also the way you bring it out in the book, right? So for someone who hasn't read the book, or for someone who has read the book, what would you say? Just I guess that title, Powder Necklace. What was sort of your intention? What's the sort of the larger meaning?
I think for me it meant sort of when people ask me what it is, sort of the story I say is that it's about the water, ostensibly about the water shortage that was happening, and the girls put powder on their necks sort of as a symbol, as a way of showing off that they'd taken a bath. So it became this sort of symbol of the haves and the have-nots. I had a shower, I had water, you didn't, that sort of thing. So I think that's what it means in connection with the story. But I think the larger meaning for me is that it's this made up thing. It's like it's beautiful, and it's precious, even though you made it precious. And I think that's what it's about for me, because I think that, like, there's, when you're talking about like Ghana, Africa, all of that stuff, there's so much like baggage and negativity, and then people are living these really challenging lives, but yet there's so much beauty. And I feel almost like kind of cliche saying that, and like like, oh, those beautiful African savages, but like there is, and life is still being lived, and you can create that beauty, and there's something to hold your head up about.
Beautiful. So that was Ekua Brew-Hammond, author of Powder Necklace. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for joining us on the Palm Prints Living Room Conversation series. So hope you'll join us next time.